The long road to Gwadar. The drive had been punishing. 300 kilometers of winding, often desolate roads stretched between Karachi and the coastal city of Gwadar. The sun had long abandoned the sky, leaving behind a cold, star-dusted darkness that pressed in on Alian's tired sedan. Alian, a young engineer on his first big construction project, was making the journey alone. He was a modern man, all logic and spreadsheets, but the eerie silence of the Makran coastal highway at 2 a.m. was starting to fray his nerves. His father's warnings echoed in his mind. "Don't stop on the highway after midnight, son. The desert has its own secrets." He shook his head, pushing the old superstitions away. He needed to focus. The fuel was low and he was still 50 kilometers from his destination. Just as he was about to switch to the reserve tank, he saw her. Standing by the roadside, bathed in the blinding white of his headlights, was a woman. She was clad in a vibrant shalwar kameez, her head covered by a bright embroidered shawl, a splash of color against the monochromatic desert. She was beautiful and devastatingly out of place. Alian's heart hammered a frantic rhythm. He instinctively slowed the car, torn between his father's old warnings and a simple, innate desire to help a woman stranded in the middle of nowhere. He pulled over 20 feet past her. Rolling down his window, he called out, his voice hoarse. "Are you all right? Do you need a ride?" The woman remained silent. She did not turn her head, which was tilted slightly downward. Then very slowly she raised her hand. It was a gesture of appeal, of desperation, relief mixed with profound unease. She was alone. Maybe her car had broken down, or worse. He looked around. No vehicle. Nothing but endless, rocky desert. He put the car in park and unbuckled his seatbelt. "I can take you to the nearest town," he said, trying to keep his voice steady. "Just tell me where." She finally moved, taking a single small step towards the car. That was when the logic fled, replaced by a cold, primordial fear that seized his throat. In the intense beam of the headlights, he saw it. The woman's feet. They were bare, but instead of pointing forward, towards the car, her heels were where her toes should be. The soles of her feet, white and chillingly smooth, faced him. Her gait, though only a step, was an unnatural, twisting movement that defied human anatomy. It was the Pichal Peri, the backwards-footed spirit of the lonely roads, the beautiful apparition that lured men to their doom. Alian didn't scream. He didn't even breathe. Every muscle in his body locked up as his mind screamed a single deafening word: go. He fumbled with the gear stick, slamming the accelerator to the floor. The car lurched forward, tires spitting gravel. In his side mirror, he saw her finally lift her head. Her eyes were sunken pits of shadow, and her mouth stretched into a grotesque, impossibly wide smile that exposed teeth too long and too sharp to be human. The thing didn't run. It simply followed. Through the rearview mirror, Alian saw the impossible. She was gliding, a blur of color, keeping pace with his speeding car. Her form seemed to stretch, becoming unnaturally tall, looming. He could hear nothing over the roar of his engine and the pounding in his ears, but the image of that stretched. Smiling face filled his vision. He drove faster, praying, reciting every verse he could remember. He didn't look back again, terrified that if he met her gaze one more time, his luck would run out. He didn't slow down until the first shimmering lights of Gwadar were visible on the horizon. Hours before dawn, when he finally reached his construction camp, his colleague found him slumped over the steering wheel, shivering uncontrollably. The windows were still rolled down, and the car's interior reeked not of sweat or fear, but of an overwhelming, sickeningly sweet perfume, a scent that clung to the air like a veil. Alian never drove that road alone again, and he never wore cologne after sunset. He was a man of logic, but some truths were written not in books but on the silent, deserted roads of his homeland and stamped by feet that walked the wrong way.